Welcome back, guys. The next speaker is Lisa Carpenter, and she's going to be talking about developing the data specialists of the future, how you can nurture future talent to become high-performing data practitioners. Lisa has worked with organizations to deliver value from their data, building technical solutions and statistical models to produce actionable insights. In 2018, Lisa discovered her passion for developing individuals in data and began developing and delivering data courses. She is believed in the importance of ethics of data science and that everyone has a duty to act with the best interest of humanity. Lisa Carpenter, everyone.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming, and I'm so excited to be here talking to you today about developing the data specialists of the future. Before we begin, I just want to say congratulations to each and every one of you. You are somewhere on your data journey, whether that's right at the beginning, maybe you're a student, maybe you're enrolled in a boot camp and you're doing your 12 weeks of training, maybe you're a head data scientist somewhere. We do something very challenging. It's really difficult. There is so much that you need to know to be a data practitioner. So congratulations to all of you. Please give yourself a round of applause. Yes, you are awesome. So just before I start talking, I'm just going to say really briefly who I am. So my name is Lisa. I'm one of those rare people who got to study something at university that they then actually went on to use. So I did information management at university, which was kind of like early day data science before that more sexy job title had been made up. I then went into consumer-focused data insight roles at various organizations. Then I went into Deloitte, which was an experience. And then while I was there, I discovered a real passion for working with mainly the graduates and really helping to train and develop them. And that led me into data apprenticeships, where I really loved delivering those. And then that brought me to my current role. This isn't an advert for Digital Futures, so we won't mention them again. So I'm going to talk to you about the challenge that we have when it comes to training people in this space. And I'm sure you're familiar with some of the challenges that I'm going to talk about. And then I'm going to take you through some hopefully tangible examples and really try and help you on that journey. So one thing we do know is that the barriers are high. I don't know where you are on this journey, but it is difficult, it is challenging. There is so much knowledge that you need. There's so many skills that you need as well. And there's a certain way you need to behave to work in the data space. Hands up who is generally like busy in their day-to-day role. Like, who doesn't really have time to do anything except their job? Anyone else? One of the people I manage is just like sticking his hand up so far. But yeah, like we don't have time to really focus on any of this stuff. And once you've climbed your first mountain, maybe that's your first entry-level role, it keeps going. The goalposts get higher and higher. Maybe it's once you've become a data scientist, you've got your goal set on becoming a lead data scientist or head of data. But the goalposts are just constantly changing. Entry into data is hard. I did a little bit of web scraping before this and picked up some of the skills from all of those job listings out there. Produced one of the bog standard word clouds from Python word cloud. And these are just some of the things that are out there. So that I spelled visualization wrong, woohoo. There's visualization, all of the beautiful maths. There's the storytelling side. Big data now is totally a thing. You need to be good at cloud now. It's constantly evolving and constantly changing. And of course, this is only half of the picture. As we all know, these are just the technical skills that we all need. There's also all of the lovely soft skills that we need, as if all of those technical skills weren't challenging enough. You need the domain knowledge. You need to not only be a great programmer, but we now need to be able to talk to people and actually have the communication side as well. You need that self-control to start a project and actually finish and deliver something at the end. You need to be endlessly curious. You need to be able to present. You have to be able to work independently, but also in a team. It's a whole thing of so many different skills, and we can break them down into the knowledge, skills, and behaviours. So when we work in data science, there's such a large amount of knowledge that we need, of skills that we need. So that's when we actually take our knowledge and put it into place. And then the behaviours are how we act in doing it. So if anyone works in education, KSBs is what it is all about. And there's no doubt that our industry has a huge amount of KSBs that we need to be successful in what we do. We also have a little bit of an unsupervised problem. The first thing is that there's no qualified data scientists. Like, what even is a data scientist? There's no industry definition of what that even means. And there's certainly no single recognized body that kind of says, yes, this person is a data scientist. Well done, they've ticked the boxes. It just doesn't exist. There's some certification out there, but if you look at something like the actuarial profession, they have a not a government body, they have an institutional body, the Actuarial Institute, who kind of say, yes, this person, they've done their actuarial science stuff, they're an actuary, yay. Same with accountancies, there's a few regulations and a few regulatory bodies that say, yes, a person is an actuary or an accountant. We don't have that. No one says, yes, this person is qualified. So it's completely an unsupervised problem. We don't know who is good. We don't know what it really means. And there is no one definition of what we all do. So well done, team. Like, you're doing great to survive in this mess of an industry thus far. This is the 2021 landscape of the big data and data science thing. Hands up if you've mastered every technology on here. No one? I don't think even my little cool magnifier is going to help you. But it's dizzying, right? Like, just the sheer amount of technologies that are constantly coming out. The more and more events you go to, the more you'll find vendors out there trying to convince you that their latest shiny software is going to revolutionize your entire stack and change your life. It's dizzying trying to keep up with all of this. In 2017, it looked like this. So a little bit smaller, there's a lot less boxes. So now it's getting crazy, and this is last year. So 2022's is probably going to be even more convoluted and even more crazy. So I hope you can agree that data science, data engineering, data analyst, and this thing is hard. It's really tough, right? There's so many knowledge, skills, and behaviors that we have to master. We have no way to assess when we're good or when we're not. And it's an incredibly fast-paced industry. It's so difficult to keep up. As someone working in education, one of the questions constantly on my mind is, how am I going to stay relevant? Because if I keep teaching what I taught a year ago, it's not going to be setting my students up for success. So I constantly have to change my curriculum and constantly try and keep learning while also delivering, so that it remains relevant and out there. And here's the thing. If you're a junior data scientist today, you are the lead data scientist of tomorrow. And in our industry, it's kind of your job to train those young individuals coming into your organization, those less experienced people. It's on you. And I don't think anyone is going to come up to you and teach you how to be a manager, how to be a mentor, how to be a leader. It's just something you're magically expected to be good at or just become good at. And that's what I want to talk to you about, just some of the tips and tricks when it comes to helping those individuals train and develop and learn. So this could be your own learning journey. Maybe you're towards the beginning of your career and you want to learn, develop, and train yourself up in this space. Or maybe it's someone you're managing, maybe it's a mentee or a co-worker that you want to help them on their learning journey. So our first trick is start at the end and really define the destination. It's a little bit like getting in your car. You pop on your sat nav, you tell it where you're going to go, and it plots that pathway and that route. And that's really what we need to think about. We can't just go, okay, today I'm going to be better at data. We need a goal in mind. So here's a goal. I want to learn Python. Is this a good goal? No, it's not. It's a terrible goal. What does that even mean? Like, what? You're going to, I don't know, learn every keyword off by heart? Are you going to memorize PEP 8 until, I don't know. This is a terrible goal. We need a goal that is tangible, that is related to our work, that we can actually do. So I want to learn Python, good so far, so that I can replicate the usage report Excel workflow in Python. And that could obviously be anything. But we've taken that high-level, unmeasurable goal, because who's going to measure what learn Python means, and we've kind of given it a goal. We now know what we actually want to achieve. So when we've done this, when we've made that workflow, we know that we are successful. And we can take that further and turn it into a learning plan as well. We can take that high-level goal and break it down into the fundamentals. Seems quite obvious and easy stuff, guys, right? All good. And we can further take it and turn it into a learning plan. And a learning plan really should be the fundamental that is at the base of what you're doing with your conversations. So make sure your person, your managee, your mentee knows their own learning plan. Like, it shouldn't be a secret from them. They should be in this journey. And you should have those clearly defined, tangible goals, and that success criteria as well. What does success look like? Have a goal where you know that it's been done and you can mark it off. It should continue, so setting lots of little goals along the way. And ideally, it should be related to something that actually matters, because the more we keep doing these things at work, the more it becomes part of what we're doing, and we get good at it. Cool. So I'm going to take you through some of the actual tips for teaching. One of the things is focusing on why and not what. So if we take SQL group bys, Tableau, Excel pivot tables, and Pandas group by, these are all forms of data aggregation. If you understand one of them, you should, in theory, understand all of them. And then it just becomes a problem of the syntax and where to click to create it in different technologies. And by focusing on the concept of aggregation, rather than just click here, type this, then we can really help people to understand what we are saying and what we want them to do. The next thing is keeping it relevant. So here are 2 SQL questions. So imagine you're delivering a workshop on SQL. Here are 2 ways you could ask the same question. What do we prefer, the top or the bottom? Maybe if you prefer the top one, stick your hand up. And if you prefer the bottom one, don't stick your hand up. Interesting. So the top one is basically like we've done the work for you. Like the SQL keywords are already there. Whereas that bottom one is more like what's going to happen in industry, right? And how people are going to communicate with you. So hopefully you can see that the bottom one is probably a little bit better for getting people to kind of practice and really work. Cool. So pedagogy, which is the art of learning, development, and training in people. We have a really basic concept, which is I show you something, we then do something together, and then you get to have a go yourself. So in my classroom, this tends to look like I deliver a workshop, and I apologize to my students that they've had to sit through those. But then we do a coding exercise together. I'll code a bit, they code a bit, and then they go off and get to code alone and maybe do a project. But this I, we, you is a really base principle of teaching. So if you use this with the people you're teaching, you should find it is fairly effective. The next one is make a space for play. It's the sandbox down here that we really need. Giving someone a place that they can actually play around. If you're running queries against production, you're hopefully a little bit scared of running something that's going to break everything and destroy the whole world. So by giving people a space where they can write and play with their queries without that worry, really helps. So give people a safe space where they can really play around and they're not worried about failure. It will really help. One of the things you can do as well is make sure that there's safe, anonymized data sets. Something that isn't super top secret and would be problematic if it got out. So by making it safe, people will want to play. I apologize, this slide is impossible, but if possible, just make some time for people. Give some dedicated time for people to train, to learn, to develop. Even if it's half a day on a Friday, just giving them that time to let them learn and develop will really help. Here's one of my favorites as well, working on old projects. So if you've done a client brief and you delivered it like 6 months ago, why not allow a junior person to have a go at that same project from scratch and just see what they come up with? There's no failure in that. They can't mess up, that you're not counting on them for anything. And then they've got a good answer to go back to and check their work against as well. Who knows, maybe they'll actually do a better job than you did or find some quality control issues with the original project as well. But giving people the opportunity to do real work, but in a safe area, is great. My students are going to laugh at this one. There's a few of them in the audience because they know that they often didn't really get feedback on the course due to time constraints. But giving feedback is just one of those things that can really help someone train and learn and develop. It's one of the best gifts that we can give each other, when it's constructive and nice, of course. Really quickly now, I'm running out of time. But we need to think about really creating that passion in people. Just going to whiz through these. But doing exciting things internally. Maybe you're going to hold a hackathon. Maybe you're just going to set up a Slack or a Discord where people can really share their resources, share their ideas, ask questions. Getting people to join the Data Science Festival, yay! Getting people on Slack, on Discord, on meetups, going to the events, being here, grabbing all of the amazing free swag and enjoying the free lunch. Just getting people excited and passionate about what it is that we do. There's also mentoring programs. Being a mentor is a great way to develop yourself, but also others. Becoming an instructor. CodeFest Girls is always looking for instructors along with loads of other organizations. I really recommend instructing. It really makes you question your own abilities and how deeply you know everything as well. Code Wars and Kaggle is a really great place for sparking joy and interest as well. And finally, we come to the secret of teaching. Big secret, guys. Here we go. Don't tell anyone else outside of this room and the recording. It's to listen. It's really to listen to the individuals that you are working with. So if you demonstrate a concept, you then do something called checking for understanding. And then if you find they don't have the understanding, telling them the same thing in a slightly different way is not going to help. At this point, you need to listen to them and find their misconception. Normally, I just get people to explain it back to me in their own words. And at that point, we find what it is that they're not following. And from there, having listened, we can then go ahead and fix that misconception. So thank you so much. That was a whistle-stop tour of some of the things that we're doing at Digital Futures and kind of our training space. If you have any questions, do let me know. I think we're about to swap over to another speaker as well.
That was... Nurturing data talent. Lisa Carpenter. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. All right. Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, everyone.